What is up, party people? It's your boys back up in this house tonight. Birds of a feather. Best running back since 2000. Brought to you by Bajo's Bread, located in Mount Lowe, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs, or as we like to call them on the show, balls of the meat. Mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. Let's go.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio, brought to you by Bajo's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and everywhere you download your podcast. And even, guys, maybe we'll be on Threads. We'll see. We'll see. But if you are listening to us live right now, or on your commute, or on the way to Bajo's Bread, we greatly appreciate the support. Guys, I am so excited for tonight's show. This is the rankings show that I've been waiting for all summer. Boys, Mr. OG Pete, PY, Jake, how are you guys? Are you as hyped as I am for tonight's topic?
No,
Probably not.
Just because this is your position and we know how you are. So
we're just here so we don't get fined.
Don't get me wrong, I love doing a show with you guys, but yeah, this is your
crap,
wheelhouse.
man. Like,
this is your wheelhouse. So
this is gonna be fun. I did this, like we did this a few years ago. Like I said, like I'm bringing this back. We did it. Me and Pete did it with Chrome. I think during the pandemic, and it was just such a good topic overall. And I think the past few shows that we've done, the best whatever position since 2000, we've had some very, very good conversations, and I expect it to keep going tonight. My list definitely has changed since then a little bit, but it also hasn't. Also, with the way we were framing the question is a little altered. There's a little bit of wiggle room for preference. So we will see how things go. But as it has been, I expect it to be really, really interesting, really fun to talk about tonight. That's gonna happen in the first half of the show. That's gonna be the bulk of the show, guys. We're going to talk about the best running backs, or the running backs we'd built a franchise with since the year 2000, and then to top off the show, we'll go no huddle. But the first half of the show, it's brought to you by Alandi Travel. If we are specializing in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, wherever your heart calls you, let their talented team of travel experts, including yours truly and Eddie Ritter of A2D Radio as well, create a custom vacation for you. Our poll question, I'm going to let this be answered later on in the show, and there's a good reason for that, but I'm going to put it up so that people can see. I'm going to have it scrolling for the bulk of the show. We're going to start seeing less and less running backs included or inducted into the Hall of Fame, agree or disagree. So, fam, if you're watching, that's the poll question. Chime in, give us your thoughts. We'll get into that discussion after we do our whole rankings. All right, gentlemen. So let's get right into it. Let me bring up the spreadsheet. Cue the music.
Before we start, I want, if we can, to have everyone on here kind of talk about their ranking methodology or the thought process behind their decision making and picking the rankings.
Okay. Yeah. So the way I looked at it, because we've based this off of, and the way we've done QBs and wide receivers, who we'd build a franchise with. So the way I'm qualifying these players is, if you played in 2000, you are in. Like, if you were at least in somewhat of your prime in 2000, you count toward this. You qualify for being considered on my list. So I based it off of, I tried to really include everything. So obviously talent, I based off of who I thought was just most talented, but then I also wanted to get a balance of I wanted to factor in longevity because if I'm building a franchise, I need some sort of longevity. But then I also wanted to have equal value with, okay, but if you really at your peak for 3 to 5 years ish, were at the top of the mountain, like if you really went off for 3 to 5 years, then I was willing to give a little bit of wiggle room with longevity. So like it's very difficult, but I tried to give fair value to each and say like, okay, like I understand this guy had the longevity, but then like at their peak, were they really better than this guy at their peak? So that's how I framed it. I tried to include everything. So it's not just like career stats. It's the total package of all the factors included in terms of having a running back on your roster long term. So, and then obviously you guys know how I prefer to value the running back position. So I included that. So what I value in a running back, the traits I value the most, they factor in my ranking. So how I do it is not going to be the same. If hypothetically, if like Marcus is one here, Marcus being an OG like old timer, he's going to value someone who totes the rock. Like he doesn't value as much of the new hybrid type of running back, whereas I do. So my traits that I value and prefer are going to be different than if he had done this list per se. So that's how I approached it. I don't know how you guys did as well.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing, pretty much how they translate today. And longevity was another thing I did incorporate also. But pretty much everything Chuck said, I basically did pretty much the same thing.
I did a little of that, but also looking at, at their peak, who can I win a ring with? Like, who is the X factor I can win a ring with? Because here's the thing, I hear that longevity and whatever else like that, but you can give me 5 years of bullshit if I can win 2 Super Bowls.
No, yeah.
Look
at Terrell Davis, right?
You.
Someone who's not going to be included because he played in the late 90s, but
90s,
his spurt of 5 years, right?
He was the best running back in football.
He was right there with Barry Sanders for those 5 years.
Man, what other player who's in the Hall of Fame has a shorter sample size than him as far as years?
Yeah, yep. And I think I will say this too. Like, I think even though it was only 5 years, I think the Hall of Fame committee was absolutely correct in inducting him.
Oh yeah,
because I think that's fine, even though it wasn't a long period of time. I believe he was dominant enough in that spurt where like you have to consider he's the reason those Broncos won those Super Bowls. Like flat out is. He was at the top, and unlike with a guy like say Eli Manning, like Eli Manning wasn't the sole reason why those Giants teams won, but Terrell Davis was. Terrell Davis was an elite running back in those several seasons. So I think that his induction into the Hall of Fame was absolutely warranted. He deserved all of that. So yeah, I mean, very good points. PY, like, I don't know if you have anything, if you pretty much just had the same criteria as we did or did it a little differently.
I mean, basically just kind of got a combination of like a lot of different things, like how it would translate today's game, longevity, championship or bust material, things like that.
Yep. All right, so we're pretty much all on the same page as well. How we approach it. So here's another question for you guys, and you guys let me know. But Pete, you brought up an interesting idea. Do we want to alter this? Do we want to start at the top and going in descending order? Because the way I see it, and I told you guys pre-show,
there's only one guy at one.
I think the top 5 are going to be the same, just in different order. I think we're going to have these same guys in top 5. Where it gets interesting is after that. Beyond that, I think it could be totally different, which could make for really, really interesting conversations. But you guys decide. I don't know if you want to go ascending order or descending order.
It's interesting because like you said, the top 5 to 6 are kind of, I think, unanimous. It's just a matter of the order we put them in. Yeah, let's switch it up. Why not?
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's switch it
Pete,
up.
What do you think?
I mean, I came up with the idea, so
All right, so we'll switch it up with that. So we'll do that. And then how many did you guys do? Because I went 14 deep, and that worked out because I did have all those fill out the rest of my tier 3. So I do have all that you see. Those are all tier 3 guys. There's a lot. So
All right, Joseph Jesus.
I know.
so
Good
Joe,
Lord.
nice. Okay, so here we go. He goes LT, Sean Alexander, Jamal Lewis, Edrin James, Clint Portis, Fred Taylor, Priest Holmes, Steven Jackson, MJD, Chris Johnson, Matt Forte, Marshawn Lynch, Le'Veon Bell, Zeke, LeSean, Gore, AP, Henry, and
Just
Cook.
on.
Is that just Joe? Like, is
I don't think
that,
there's an order to that.
Yeah, there's no
Order?
way it's an
There's
order.
no
He's
order,
just
right?
clumping them all. Yeah, there's
I'm
no
assuming
way
because
that's ordered
AP
in
was
order.
like toward the back.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he just mentioned names that would be in there, but no
yeah.
order.
It's tough. It's really tough.
It's really tough. Philly Sports with Big says, I think there's a case to make that AP's MVP season is one of the greatest MVP seasons in the NFL, coming off the injury, winning an award that is basically made for QBs, and his QB was Christian Ponder.
Mm-hmm.
Very good point. Okay, so yeah, Pete, how many did you do?
10.
Jake
10.
and PY.
10.
Okay, so what I will do is I'll just same thing as last week. I'll just quickly roll off my 14 to 11,
Okay.
and then if you guys don't have them, then I won't go in too much into it. But if you guys do have them, we'll touch on it. But number 4. Oh wait, hold on. That's where the end. So we're going descending order.
You
My
drinking?
Yes.
bad. Yeah,
Yes.
we're going descending.
He forgot that fast, y'all.
I forgot that fast. Sorry, I got really excited. Okay.
30
So,
seconds.
Do we want to go with the? Let's do this. Let's do because I have 3 guys in my top tier.
Okay.
So like, I think you guys can guess who it is, but maybe one is off. Do you want to do like you each want to do like our top 3 or top 2? Read them off, and so we can compare. Who
I'll
we
say
have.
top 2.
Yeah,
Top
top
2.
2.
Want to do top 2? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So let's start. Pete, since you came out with your idea, let's start with you, Pete. Well, who are your top 2?
Top 2?
Yep.
Adrian Peterson is number 2.
Oh, not on me. My bad. I got too overzealous. And then I'm assuming
You already know.
LT.
It's LT.
Jake.
Yep, same exact as Pete.
Yep.
Okay, let me type this in. Hold on, sorry. Tomlinson. And then Adrian Peterson. PY.
Same.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
And him in today's game, oh my god.
Oh my God.
What, LT? Oh my.
Yeah, he beat it. Tomlinson. Sorry, I'm just gonna do because Tomlinson.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pete, I don't know if you remember when we did this originally with Chrome. I had this ranking,
Okay.
and you and Chrome like tore me a new one. But I had Marshall Faulk over Adrian Peterson. I
can see it. For what you
I'll
look
give
for
my
running
case.
backs, I can see it.
I'll give my case. Now I know that half of his great career was in the late 90s, so that's where do you count him because in totality you only get half of his career in the 2000s? But I counted it because if he still was in his prime during 2000s, you're in. Like you qualify for my list. With Marshall Faulk, the reason why I have him over AP is because if you guys know me, I value versatility and being a dual threat. In today's league, you have to be a dual threat. I think that Adrian Peterson, as dominant as he was, he might have been one of the most dominating pure runners in the history of the league. But at the same time, he really had horrible hands. And that in 2 cases. 1, he really did not catch the ball well. And 2, how many times did he have fumbling issues? Fumbling issues throughout his whole career.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest pet peeves of mine is fumbling. If you fumble the ball a lot, I am going nuts. that's my biggest pet peeve in football is fumbling the ball, especially if you're
Mhm.
running back. So in terms of what I look for in a running back, Marshall Faulk checks off more boxes than Adrian Peterson does. So if I'm being consistent in what I look for, I have to put Marshall Faulk there above AP. It's if you're looking for a dominant runner, then obviously AP is your guy. But if I'm building a team, I want my running back to be able to do more. And Marshall Faulk might be not as talented of a runner, but he's as talented, if not more talented, as a whole football player than AP was. So that's always been my case. I've always valued and looked at Marshall Faulk over Adrian Peterson. A lot of people don't agree, but I stick to that. That's how I would see it.
Surprisingly enough, Adrian Peterson has the same catch percentage as LaDainian Tomlinson, both 72%.
Yeah, but you got also
the fumbles. If you didn't bring up the fumbles, I was going to ride you for the catch percentage because it's different because you could do more fault. But the fumbling issues is you can't.
Like,
bad.
And you got to also
big times too.
You also got to look at the type of catches both caught. Like LT, I mean LT was no Faulk, but then again, not many were. The closest thing to Faulk that we've had is B West and CMC. So it's not fair to compare that, but at the same time, like Tomlinson was also used in different ways as a receiver than AP. AP literally, when he would catch the ball, it literally would just be right out of the backfield near the line of scrimmage. Like he was not anything outside of that.
Mhm.
You didn't run many screens with him or anything like that. So like with LT, yeah, the numbers might say, oh, catch percentage was equal, but you watch them play, like it's easy to see that Tomlinson was a far and away better receiver, and obviously held on to the ball. So but I think we all agree on LT. I don't know if you guys want to talk about LT, why he should be number one. I mean, he was dominant. We just talked about it. If he played in today's game, it'd be unreal. But yeah, go ahead if anyone wants to add on to why LT is number one.
Man, listen, they can do it all.
Yep.
Inside, outrun any scheme. Can catch, find it. The same thing we brought up when we did the wide receiver since 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had Julio Jones that said, "What is it that happens in the red zone?" That's not a question you have to ask about LT.
Yeah.
28 rushing touchdowns in a year, man. 164 touchdowns overall in his career. Gold jacket.
31 total in 2006. That's insane.
It's insane. I don't understand how anyone will ever beat that.
That's impossible. Yeah. That's literally impossible. 31 touchdowns, including the 3 receiving touchdowns.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's ridiculous. So
it's all rushing, right?
Real quick, he had 28 in 2006. So let me do this real quick. From 2001 to 2008, I'm just going to go down this list of the total touchdowns he had, starting at 2001. 10, 15, 17, 18, 20, 31, 18, 12, and 12. That's from 2001 to 2009.
Those years of where it just kept getting more
ridiculous. That's literally ridiculous. If you had him on your fantasy team, God bless you.
Yeah.
God bless you.
He was special. And then it's funny because like he was 5'10". I think he weighed in around like in playing weight it was between 215 and 220. But like you think about it, a running back that's 220 nowadays, you're like, oh, that's a big back.
Yeah,
but like LT moved like he was fast, elusive. Mm-hmm. He moved like he was 200 pounds, 200 pounds. But man, like he had everything. He was a total package. So like he's. I don't think you can in modern era. I don't think you can talk about a prototypical running back and not have LT toward the top.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much said who was at my number 3. Who's at your guys' number 3?
I have Marshall Faulk at 3.
Yeah, I have Faulk at 3.
Where do you have? Who do you have at 3? I know you have someone else.
Because it's hard for me because like I.
You had 2 All-Pro seasons.
Thinking about it. While you think about it, Jake.
I'm gonna put Faulk at 3 simply
Okay.
because of talent.
Okay. All right.
Because of talent.
I was gonna say, digging PY, we didn't touch on AP, or you guys didn't get a chance to touch on AP. What did you like about AP? To where why is obviously it's an obvious question, but definitely dive into how you see AP.
I mean, you talk about a guy that's the definition of consistency, and he was dominant from, let me see, like 2007 to, 2018. He had over 1,000 yards all the way up to 2018, pretty much. Aside from the year he got hurt, but the fact that he was able to come off a torn ACL for a running back, and then win MVP the next year, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Any other running back, when they tear their ACL, that's it. You've already hit the cliff. You're over the cliff. You're halfway down it.
Mm-hmm.
And he wins MVP and has 2,000 yards. Like, are you serious?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
like nobody does that. Like, like what you say whatever you want about AP. The end was the end. But like from start till the end, he was that guy. He was amazing. Like everything's a highlight play. Everything's 1,500 yards. Everything's 12 plus touchdowns. Like he does everything to where you're just like, excuse my French, how the fuck did he move that way?
Yeah, it's insane.
3 guys have him are wrapped around him, and he's already 15 yards down and in the end zone. Like, get out of here.
And for as big as he was, too.
Is the equivalent to me. AP is the LeBron in the NFL when it comes to running backs. Longevity is just it's just unmatched. I don't think you'll see you. So 07 to 18, that was 12 seasons at 1,000 yards. You'll never see that again.
No,
that's an interesting comparison. I would say, like, I know they were a little bit different, but in terms of how they are viewed in their respective eras, I think AP was this era's Bo Jackson in terms of just
but more long. I'm talking about from the longevity standpoint.
You're talking about longevity.
Yeah,
and I'm talking about just like a physical dominant
specimen.
Because the power and the speed. Well,
AP had speed, and
he did. But would you not say Derrick Henry's more like Bo?
No, I think Bo had that wiggle. Obviously, like Bo could do everything. Derrick Henry, I don't think has that same movement.
Which is fast. People don't realize how fucking fast he is.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick
You
Henry,
gotta be fast. Yeah, you gotta be fast to run 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah, because of his long ass strides. He only one stride for him is like 3 strides for like your normal guy. So like, he's fast. He's fast. So that's what I you can make an argument for Henry being this era's Bo Jackson, but I just always thought, like, in terms of physical dominance and like specimen, Peterson. I always saw Peterson as that. Like he's 6'2", 230. Was he like 220, 230? Yeah. And man, like he just ran angry. Like we talk about beast mode. Like Adrian Peterson was beast mode in terms of like just angry. He wanted to kill someone every time he touched the ball. So I loved the way he ran. I just wish if he had any part of his other part of his game was any better, he'd absolutely be number 2 for me. Mm-hmm. I loved. And that's why I have these 3 in the first tier, because they're all in that, in that conversation. So I get it. Now you guys all talk about Marshall Faulk, or I've talked about Marshall Faulk already. Give you guys if you want to chime in about Marshall.
I mean, he was doing. I see that Dynasty saying that he's only played, but when you look at the top, it says who we would build a franchise with. If you give me prime Marshall Faulk and I could build a franchise around that, it was unfair.
Yep.
I mean, listen, you got the greatest show on turf, obviously Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Ricky Prohl, Marshall Faulk. Mm-hmm. I would say this, listen, without Marshall, which I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
Because you're not seeing that coverage on the back end if you ain't got Marshall Faulk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know what something – oh, sorry. I thought you.
No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, and something that doesn't go stated enough, and when you have guys who can be dual threats like this, the part of their game that people don't touch on enough is their how smart they are, their football IQ, and that's something that gets. I'm going to touch on again with someone later, similar to him, but like Marshall Faulk's IQ, like you hear what people say, like he was one of the smartest. football players there was. Like what he knew on the field was was on another level than we've ever seen for a running back to that point. So that's why, also why I love how he played, because he was just incredibly smart. So Kayvon Kellum, to get some of the chat, he says LT is my favorite player of all time. You guys have number one. I love that you guys know football. Thank you. I appreciate it. LT should be a number one. Joe says, talking about his list, he said he went from 2000 to present. It's too hard to rank them in order. Very, very, very difficult. Povia says he agrees to the poll. They just don't get enough extended run in games and seasons and careers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Dynasty's 215 says, I'd go to say LT's best 2 seasons targets is half already of AP's career catches. Yeah. Let's see. Joe Horakowski also says Sean Alexander was close to that 1 year, I believe. He was for touchdowns. Mm-hmm. There were 2 other ones that I was looking at, and I was like, oh, they're really, really close to that record. And Vespi says, who do you consider as the most underrated running back since 2000? I'll get to that. I'll get to that. And then Don says, y'all remember AP chucking William Gay from Pittsburgh? Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Oh, man. SJM says he couldn't agree more with our top 3. Ro G says, Bettis, Dickerson, Jamal Lewis, and Peterson. Dickerson was not in the 2000s.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's saying that 2000 or just in general.
Oh, yeah. SJM says Bo Jackson was a freak. I can see that comparison. AP was Earl Campbell mixed with Eric Dickerson. Yeah, I can understand that too. So Dynasty says Henry's my 3 only because Faulk I had later because he only played 2 to 3 years in the 2000s, which I understand. Mm-hmm. Donna says Reggie Bush had all the talent and potential to make this list. Shaking my head. No, I never thought he had the talent to do so because he didn't know how to run between the tackles. That's what I'll say. He never knew how to run between the tackles. And then SJM says Marshall Faulk to me is the genesis of today's prototype for RB1s. Smart runner, great speed, elite blocker, had the best for a running back. Yep, absolutely. All right, so we're going to get into my tier 2. We're going to get into number 4s on your list. I feel like everyone has the same guy, but who knows? We might be surprised. PY, who do you have at number 4?
Shady McCoy.
Number 4. Wow. Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Like I said, I don't like lists. I tried. It's me doing my best, goddammit.
Jake, do you have LeSean McCoy ranked?
I have him 6.
So I'm not that crazy.
Yeah, I have him 6.
Yeah, close. Pete, where do you have him list?
6.
I have him ranked.
Of course you do. Okay, I know where this is going.
He's at 10.
I already know what's going to happen. I'm just
longevity, speed. His run in Buffalo was just as good as his run in Philly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hey, I mean, he will if he doesn't mess it up with his character. Is an argument to be made he could be a Hall of Fame.
Yep.
I mean, he has 2 Super Bowls.
No, he doesn't.
He has 2 Super Bowl rings. It doesn't matter.
He has over 10,000 yards rushing. It's 11,000.
Mm-hmm. And he has 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yep. He does have over 12,000 yards. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 2 Super Bowl rings. I do not count that. Like,
don't give a shit what you count, sir.
There's no way.
I said I go to his Wikipedia page right now. You know what it says? 1, 2. Count them things.
Yeah. That's the equivalent of Jeremy Lin having a.
Wasn't they back to back?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, he went from the Chiefs to Tampa.
To Tampa.
And he rode the bench for both games.
Don't hate the game. Don't hate it. He's smart. That's smart thinking, man. That is genius.
Anything, dude.
Don't matter.
Jeremy Lin has a championship ring.
Guess what? When Carson Wentz retires, guess what it says? Super Bowl champion, bitch.
This is really going to start an argument here, anyways. But it is what it is. I'm just saying.
No.
How many rings does Westbrook have?
0.
He did more in the playoffs than McCoy ever did, though. Let's see how they both performed in the playoffs. Let's see how they both performed in the playoffs. So I'm just saying. Anyways, this show is not going to get into another argument of Westbrook. Those things have to be their own separate shows. But remember, guys, I have McCoy is in my tier 3. So I could argue, I could absolutely argue. You could argue him at 6 for me, and I would not argue against it. So that's and let me make that clear. I just have you when you see the guys I have ahead of him that I would personally have. I think you'll see like it's.
I don't know how he's number 4. I don't. But PY he gets.
Yeah,
he gets
I don't know how
effort.
you look at. I don't. That's what I'll say. So I don't mind Pete and Jake. You guys have him at 6.
Mm-hmm.
PY having at 4 over some of these other guys.
I remember when he had the rushing title. Remember the following year, we all said he had a terrible year, but he still had over 1,300 yards.
Yeah. McCoy was very
the world
good.
heavyweight championship.
So good.
Yeah.
McCoy was absolutely so good. And
Electric.
what I will always one of the greatest mysteries of the NFL universe was how McCoy didn't have worse fumbling or like how he didn't have worse fumbling numbers when he held the ball out like this. That is one of the biggest mysteries in football lore ever. Like the ball all like goes against all and everything that coaches teach about the securing the rock, and he never really had fumbling issues. It didn't make any sense. It's the craziest thing. I love it. And what I also love about McCoy, even though like I do get on him because he didn't have the postseason performances, I do love his moments in the regular season, especially like snow games. Like that's for some reason, you have a blizzard, you have snow, and you get the best version of McCoy. It's the craziest thing. I think McCoy, after the dust has settled with like all his off-field stuff, and you can start to really appreciate his career. Mm-hmm. I really did enjoy LeSean McCoy and what he was as a player. He was. I also get, and this is a big compliment, probably the most elusive running back we've seen since Barry.
100%.
Since Barry.
100%.
Yes. Most elusive. And I will never deny that. I will never deny that.
And I have to preface this too. For people that like saw him actually play live, watching him move and shake the way he did like in person, it doesn't do, the TV doesn't do it justice. Yeah. It's like I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I saw him live. It was ridiculous.
So I have conflicted feelings about the snow game. On the one hand, it's amazing. On the other hand, my house flooded that day.
Did it really?
I came back and there's an issue with the pipes, and my room
probably froze.
My room flooded.
Ugh. That's unfortunate.
And which leaked downstairs. I'm just like, God damn it! Like, oh, you got 200 yards in the snow. On the other hand, I'm homeless. Bitch, I lived in a hotel for 3 weeks.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember that blizzard thing. It's
with a broken arm, by the way.
It was like a spot up. Nobody like they didn't predict.
It was out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. I remember that.
And I think it only snowed like for what, like 2 hours maybe.
Yeah,
and we got like 6-7 inches. It was nuts.
That was a tough ride home, man. I was driving like an old ass pickup truck.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add about McCoy. I mean, I've said a lot about him, but I do want to give him his flowers. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm hating on him because like he was a great running back, absolutely great running back, borderline Hall of Fame. I would love it if he got into Hall of Fame. I don't know if he will, but like I would love it if he did. Like he was so much fun to watch. So yeah. Anything else you guys wanted to add with McCoy?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about longevity too, even after he left, and I mean, thanks, Chip, but whatever, it is what it is. Yeah, even when he was in Buffalo, his years in Buffalo were great, and he capped off his career his last 2 years. Like it or not, he won 2 championships, but
yeah. So SJM says he would be 11 or 12.
Okay,
and Dynasty says number 9.
9. Okay.
So yeah, it's tough. It is
really tough.
I think number 4 is very, very unreasonably lofty, but like I think we're starting at 6. I can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Jake, who you got at your number 4?
Adrian James.
Pete, where do you have Adrian?
5.
Okay.
I have him at 4.
Okay.
People forget. See, hold on, before you go, listen, people. For those who forget, this motherfucker made Marshall Faulk expendable, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
That's when that's
the league. After a Pro Bowl season.
Yeah.
That's you ain't got to say nothing else.
Yeah.
And they both got gold jackets.
Yep.
Yep.
Edge, man. Probably one of the coolest nicknames too. Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and he I feel so sad that the year he left Indy was when they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That was,
Yeah.
I wish he could have just stayed one more year.
Mhm.
Man. But yeah, Jake, go ahead. You have him at 4 with me. What is your take on?
Yeah, I mean, you said it earlier. He was the reason they had let Marshall Faulk walk. The guy was a freak. The guy was a monster. Over 1,700 yards rushing in his second year, and mind you, 1,553 his first year. That doesn't happen. 17 touchdowns his rookie year and 18 touchdowns the following year, all combined receiving and rushing. But the guy was a monster. He was good for, and you talk about longevity too. From 99 to 2007, he had over 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
He was ridiculous. He was absolutely ridiculous.
Yep, absolutely. Pete, anything to add?
The gold tooth, man.
Oh my god, I forgot about the gold tooth. Yeah.
P.Y., I didn't ask you where you had him at. Where do you have him ranked?
I have him at 5.
At 5. You really have LeSean McCoy.
Oh my god!
This is where your age kind of shows. Like,
This fine.
so, anyways, so Edge at 5. It's not that you have Edge at 5 because Pete has him at 5, but I have a feeling Pete's number 4 is going to make a lot more sense than your number 4. But anyways, so Pete, who do you have at 4?
You take a guess. Fill it in.
You want me to fill it in?
Take it. I want you to fill it. No.
Oh, tell me to fill it in.
He was technically an Eagle, but never played.
Yep.
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore.
Good time.
Jake, where do you have Frank Gore?
I have him 5.
5.
Another person who stopped being an Eagle because of Chip Kelly.
Kelly, yeah. PY, where do you have him?
The hell do I have him? Survey says. Oh, I have him at 8.
Okay. It's gonna shock you guys. I have him at 14.
Interesting.
This is fucking a travesty.
I have him at 14.
You cannot preach about longevity and have Frank Gore at 14.
This is why. So this is the reason why I have him at 14. Because yes, what he has going for him is the longevity. What he doesn't have going for him is that he was never considered one of the top 2-3 backs during his career. There were always people ahead of him. So in terms of talent, he was never an elite running back. He was always that next tier under. Mm-hmm. So again, he's in my 3rd tier, but if I'm picking guys out of that tier, he would be at the bottom because of that. Now, what I had him as high as 11 at one point. But like when I really looked at it, like would I pick LeSean McCoy or would I pick Gore over McCoy? No, I wouldn't. And you'll see who else I picked over him. But like, it's just a matter of like, I love that I could have him on my team and I'd be set for 15 years. Like that would be amazing. But the thing is, Pete, what you alluded to at the top of the show, I don't think I'd ever get like outstanding game-changing production out of him. And if you look at his numbers, they're consistent, but he never was close to like 1,500, 2,000. Some of these guys that I have ahead of him, 1,500 and 2,000 yards, they were able to hit.
He was a stat stuffer, but didn't fumble, availability. Yep. Maybe 4 is a little lofty when you look at the talent portion. But hey, if I'm never got in trouble off the field.
Nope.
He's number 3 of all time. I think he has like 16,000 rushing yards.
1,600 or 16,000 even.
Yeah, even
16,000.
Yeah, so it's when you talk about Gore, it's literally like he's just consistent for a long time, and that goes to his credit, and that's why like I really tried to find a balance. The other guys I see as more talented. Like if they're at their peak, they're definitely better than Frank Gore talent wise. And yeah. But now you got me wanting to put him lower.
I'm
sorry. I didn't mean, but I do love Frank Gore. One of the best all-time Eagles ever. So yeah.
Is his son still in college?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Fuck.
Let me see. Okay. And Joe says his last 6 years he's averaged 2.8 yards a carry.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna do
Get
something. I'm
some
doing this shit on the fly. I'm doing because this. I really want to do this, and this is probably going to shock a lot of people. Take him off of number 4.
Okay. Do you want me to put him somewhere for now or no?
Put him. Put him 9.
9. Okay. You want me to now move Edge up?
No. Well, yes. Move him up.
Move him up. Okay.
Move Edge up. Leave Shady where he's at.
Okay.
Who's that?
This is. Get ready for this, fam. His name has come up. But listen, I'm gonna tell you something.
Tell us something.
This motherfucker was in Washington, and I swear to God, I wish he was.
Oh, okay.
Clinton motherfucking Portis
At 5.
That's a good
at
one.
5.
That's a good
Bro,
one.
4.26 40.
That's a good one.
He was fast.
He was fast. I love Clinton Portis.
And he can catch.
Yeah, I love Clinton Portis.
Don, you said Javid best, Don. Kick rock.
Yeah. Anyone else have Clinton Portis ranked?
No.
I did not.
I love
Yeah. He was in my.
I understand.
He was in my. He was in my tier 4, so he did not make my top 14.
Chucks.
So, what's up?
I had an ADHD moment. Gore's at 9, not 8. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. That's fine.
Yes, Clinton Portis over Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something, dog. Dynasty, I love you, man. Derrick Henry will be doing this shit back in these years because the linebackers were bigger, defensive lineman was bigger.
Yep.
It's different. These dudes is like, I'm not taking nothing away from Derrick Henry in the time frame that he's in. I'm not. But you ain't running through Vince Wilfork like that.
No.
Oh my God, no.
Those D tackles back then that these boys was running through. That's why I said it's hard. And we're not picking people who were slow. I'll say a blanket statement right now. A blanket statement right now is the running backs now have fallen off as far as runners versus the running backs that are on this list so far.
Mm-hmm.
The running backs on this list so far shit on any running back in the league right now as far as vision and running and seeing lanes.
You want to get into it now?
No.
So,
if you want
we
to,
can save it. We can save it. But I love that point. But yeah, if you want to, we can save it. But I love that point. All right, so Clinton Portis. So you anything else to add about Clinton Portis?
Yeah, Don, exactly.
Yeah,
of course. I mean, you think about it. He played in Washington. I think he started in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken. One of the only player trades. People forget that too.
Yeah, Champ Bailey.
He was
Bailey.
traded for a Hall of Famer, player for
Yeah.
player. You never. I don't think we've ever had that in the league since.
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly. And you seen what T.O. did to Champ Bailey that one out back in Denver.
Yeah.
Sorry, but no.
Says Jamal Lewis, Priest Holmes, Le'Veon Bell.
Bro, it's too many. That's why, it's so many.
That's what makes it tough. Yeah,
it's so many honorable mentions when we talk about this list. When you just go through it, like I know Chuck's did 14. You could easily go 20 deep, but it's so hard to rank them because it's like splitting hairs.
I have 25 people on my list, so I'm just not mentioning them because the spreadsheet only goes to 14.
I love that.
So, and we only have 2 hours to do a show.
Yeah.
So I could go 25 deep if I wanted to. But yeah, what you say, Pete, is absolutely great. Actually, M agrees with you. He says you hit the nail on the head. We all grew up with dynasty running backs, way more physical brand of football 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna go with my number 5 because that's the next gap that needs to be filled. My number 5, and this is who I thought that he had, and this guy was never the flashiest, never the most exciting.
Curtis
but
Martin.
man, he was. If you want to talk consistency of greatness, it was just him. In terms of entertainment, I didn't love watching this guy play over some of the other guys I have listed, but at some point you just can't deny how consistently great he was every year. Pete, Jake, PY, do you guys have him listed in your rankings?
I do not, but to Chuck's point, he had over. Let me see here.
Yeah,
he
go
had
look up
over,
his stats right now. Go look it up, and you'll be like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
There's a reason why he is tier 2 with Adrian James.
he had over. Let me see here. He had over 1,100 yards every year until 2002, but he had 1094 in 2002, and he had his highest amount of rushing yards his second to last year in the NFL was 1697.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Before Frank Gore, he was the model of like, oh, this old guy just isn't stopping.
Yeah,
he has for his career. For his career, he has 17,430 yards from scrimmage, so that's rushing and receiving, and 100 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yep.
100 touchdowns. Like, at some point, the consistency just speaks for itself. Like, he's one of the most. There are 3 guys I'm going to point out on my list.
That's why he's in the Hall
underrated, just underrated, and he's the first one.
Yeah,
Curtis Warner was just insanely good for so long.
It's a very good one.
So that's what I would say for him. So, PY, we're at your number 6 right now. So who you got at 6?
Sean Alexander.
That's a good one. Very good one.
Okay.
You guys have Jake Devin listed.
I have him. Hold on, let me go back here and see. I have him 8.
8, good. Pete.
8. And I Curtis Martin is 10 for me, by the way.
Oh, sorry, I didn't ask you. My bad. I'm so sorry. Did you have anything you wanted to add about Curtis?
I mean, this is under the radar, consistent. I mean, listen, 9 and 10 is damn near almost the same person.
Yeah.
This Curtis Martin is it's a little bit shorter, so I had the person with the more yards, but I think equivalent. Like, and it's just different, man. Like, I don't know, 1995 is in the league, 95 to 06, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then his best year was. See, his best years were in the 2000s. That's why I included him, because like his career high was 2004, where he had 1,942 yards from scrimmage. Yeah. In 2004, at age 31, like Jake said,
I'm probably gonna end up going past 10.
Okay.
Just on the fly.
Yeah, I might go past 10 also.
Right,
now that I'm looking at it.
We're rolling. That's good. Sean Alexander for me was at 13. Yeah. And I felt dirty having him that low. I just, in terms of preference and talent, I feel like the guys I had higher than him are just better. And Sean Alexander was never, again, versatility. He was never anything outside of being a runner. So I had him low, but I feel really dirty having him that low. I will admit that. I wanted to put him higher, but I liked the other guys better. But I'll probably that's probably one of them where I'm like, I'll probably regret having him that low. I will admit. I'll absolutely admit. We forget that like he was the MVP of the league in was that 05 or 04?
05 to 06.
05, yeah.
05, yeah. It's just that his 2 years after that he was done. Like he was cooking that point.
I mean, yeah, I got him 8. I can see a case for putting him lower, but simply because the line he ran behind, Steve Hutchinson and Walter Brown, like they're both Hall of Famers. That's in Holmgren. Like that it's fucking cheating, man.
Yeah,
man,
his run, his 5-year run from 2001 to 2005 was amazing, but he dropped off of that, and his career numbers in terms of yards from scrimmage, he only finished with like 10,000, just over 10,000. So like, again, like that drop off after he hit that wall was down. Like that's why I had to lower him, because it just fell off. But like he was super talented runner. Talented.
I get you're being funny, Don, but that is a good name. I'm not gonna lie. That is a good name.
Which one?
People forget about him.
Yeah.
Oh,
hold on.
D'Angelo Williams.
Yeah.
Another good name. Yeah. Another good name. Okay.
Then he got into wrestling and fucked his shit up.
Yeah. All right. My number 6. Okay, my number 6. Okay.
I thought tier 3 was number 6. I'm sorry.
Yeah, number 6. This guy was the one where I wanted to put him in tier 2 so bad, but because his overall career really was like, he only put up numbers, high productivity for like 3 years. But that 3 years was arguably the most dominant 3 years we've ever seen.
Penn State.
Priest. Oh, that's a great name too.
Dude, like, if you go watch, like, they have NFL throwback
That's a great
videos on YouTube. You can see just how insane that 3-year stretch was. It was like his stretch of 3 years was more impressive than the 3-year stretch that AP had. It was better than anything we've seen in that era. Like it was absolutely nuts. And I get he was on a good team, but I mean, we're not using that qualifier for like other guys like Marshall Faulk and Tomlinson. So why would I use it for Priest Holmes? Priest Holmes, the talent was so there. And for the love of me, like, I don't know why Baltimore never gave him more run. If he was the guy from the beginning for Baltimore, I feel like he would absolutely be close to a tier 1 guy, Hall of Famer, maybe first ballot Hall of Famer. But because he never got that run with Baltimore, you don't see that talent come to light until he goes to the Chiefs. And then, he has a 3-year run, and then he gets hurt after that, and then
he got hurt with his neck, right? Wasn't it on the field?
It was on the field, yeah. Yeah, it was on the field. I forget what injury it was, but
so do I.
Priest Holmes, he's a guy where, like, similar to Terrell Davis, it's just that he was the most dominant runner for that short period of time. So I had to give him his love. Like, I wanted so bad to put him in tier 2, but the longevity just doesn't. I need to value that at some point. And the top 5 guys are Hall of Famers. Priest Holmes isn't, at least not yet. So that's why I put him at 6 in tier 3. But man, there's no doubt in my mind he's the top of tier 3. Priest Holmes was amazing. Do you guys have him ranked anywhere?
He would be my number 11.
Number 11.
I do not have him ranked.
Jake, do you have him?
I do not.
PY, do you have him?
No.
Yeah. See, Priest Holmes, people forget about Priest Holmes, how dominant he was. He's insanely dominant. All right, so we all are at number 7, but before we do, I want to get to our commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors, Philly Sports Trips. If I can find their commercial, one second. There you go.
Hey Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
Make sure you hit up Philly Sports Trips. They're the best in the business when it comes to going on these road trips for your Philadelphia Eagles. All right, guys. So let's get into number 7. Let's start off again with Mr. Pete Evans. Who do you got at number 7?
Bro, this is tough. Like, I'm changing my list as I'm fucking doing it.
I'm kind of doing the same thing.
I've done it 4 times already.
I told you it's tough. Once we get this is the territory where after these 5-6 guys, in my opinion, I feel like it's a crapshoot. So very interested to see who you guys have.
Jamal Lewis. God.
Jamal Lewis.
Okay.
At 7. Jake, do you have him ranked?
I do not.
PY, do you have him ranked?
No.
I do not have him ranked either.
Wow.
So that's 2 guys that you ranked that we did not at all on our list. So what do you see in Jamal Lewis that you have him this high?
Speed, can catch, tough runner. You remember now, he played on the Ravens. That wasn't a team that was designed for being flashy. I think he has over 12,000 yards and just the decade of the 2000s. Obviously, that's what it is, but I think memorable games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So right here, it was between him, somebody else. I could put him lower. See, this is tough because who I originally had at 7. If we talking about talent.
Chuck's real quick. Can you put Curtis Martin at 7? I'm sorry.
You want to put him at 7? Did
Yeah,
you had him
so.
right the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah, put Jamal Lewis at 12.
Oh, a real big drop.
Oh, here we go. What is that?
Is there someone else that you want to put at 7 or no?
Yeah, man. These motherfuckers go to the combine every year and try to break his record, bro.
Oh.
I got to, because if I'm looking at talent,
Right.
who would I build a franchise with?
Mm-hmm.
C2K.
C2K.
Come on.
Okay. Jake, did you have Chris Johnson right?
I have him. Hold on a moment. I have him 10.
Why do you have him right?
I'm at 7.
7. Okay. So you have the same thing as Pete. Got it. I love it. I don't agree, but I love it. Like this is, again, really, really close. But I hear you. So Pete, I don't know. Pete, you go first if you have anything to add, and then Pete, why you can add on to it.
Speed, and vision. People forget his vision.
Mm-hmm.
He could see. He could hit the lane, but when he hit the lane, but just going, it may have been a one-trick pony. It's similar to the Tyreek Hill shit, right? The one trick he had it at an above average, above elite level.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to give him kudos for that. I wish I had more spots on my list because as I'm sitting here talking, there's more running backs that I want to put up here.
Yep. And that's why, like, when you look at Chris Johnson, he did, he was good in the screen game too.
Mm-hmm.
That elite speed was really, really, really hard to.
You know what? Do me another favor, yo.
Yeah, what's up?
My number 11, my number 12, keep the same first name, change the last name.
11 and 12?
No, number 12.
Number 12?
Keep the first name.
Okay.
Let's change the last name.
To what?
There's only one other Jamal. That was a running back. And it might as well put them some bitches together and go Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles at 12. Okay. All right.
I know you probably have him higher. Now I'm speaking with your language.
Okay. Now we're speaking my language. Numbers. So can I? I'll get to him when we get to him, but like, I have to fill in my number 7.
Okay.
So, number 7 for me, and I will admit, Pete, when I did this years ago, when we originally did this years ago with Chrome, I did not have this guy listed.
Oh.
I watched him more, and I'm like, holy crap! How did I not know this guy was?
Is this somebody that was higher on than you originally?
No, I don't think so. I don't think any of us mentioned him.
Okay.
But this guy, when you watch him, because I had to really go back and watch all videos that I could, bro, like his talent was unreal, and I don't know why people don't talk about him.
What's the first letter of his last name?
Maybe it's because he was hurt and banged up with little injuries at the beginning of his career, but I'm telling you, this guy was insanely talented. We're talking about Freaky Fred.
I was like, he about to go FT.
He
about to go Fred Taylor.
Fred Taylor, man, like he got that nickname of Fragile Freddy stuck with him beginning of his career because he never played a full season up until like I think it was his 4th or 5th year.
Yep.
But guys, I'm telling you, those at home, if you're listening, if you're watching this, go watch him. Mm-hmm. Go watch this guy play. Like he was at what big, like 6, I believe it was 6'1", 6'2", like 230. But he's moving, like he was fast. Like once you got in the open field, he ran away from defenders, and I'm talking about like ran away from defensive backs and corners and safeties, not slow guys. He was running away from everyone. And also, look at him catch passes. He was a good receiver. And like, I just don't know. Like, I guess it is the injuries why he doesn't get talked about enough. But watching him play, I'm like, this guy is insanely good. Insanely good. So freaking good. So
he should be. I don't know. Is he French Hall of Fame?
He keeps making like to the finalist, but he doesn't get voted in. And I don't think they're going. He's going to make it.
If he does get in, his speech is going to be very short.
Oh my god, yeah.
But I don't think he's going to get in because I think there are other running backs that have better career numbers. It just sucks because he only made one Pro Bowl. That's insane to me. One Pro Bowl.
Yep.
And I think it's because he played in an era where there were so many great running backs. So he was always overlooked. But oh my god, he's so good when you watch him. I'm telling you, just watch him. If you think I'm nuts, just watch this guy play. It's insane how good he was. Insane. I'm assuming none of you guys had him ranked, right?
I mean, at this point, yeah. I mean, I only got 2 spots. I'm gonna run out of spots.
No, it's crazy. Oh my god, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, yeah, it was tough to make my top 10 because of how many good running backs are. That's why, like, you guys name like Chris Johnson, Glenn Portis, Sean Alexander. I don't hate it.
I already know who my last 2 are. Like, and FT very well should be one of them. But oh god, it's tough.
He had 12,000.
This is worse than the wide receivers, bro.
This really is. This really is.
There are so many good ones. There are so many good ones. PY, who is at your number 8?
This better be somebody good if you're doing that.
Marshawn Lynch, baby.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
I like it. Marshawn Lynch. Jake, do you have him ranked?
I have him 9.
9. Okay, good. So you have him on the
Also a big time actor now.
Pete, do you have him ranked?
13.
13.
Okay.
I didn't say anything. My list sucks, so it's like.
Unfortunately, I do not have him ranked, but I wanted to rank him.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I do not have him ranked. But go ahead, PY. Go ahead.
Like, how do you even describe Marshawn Lynch? Like,
he's awesome.
Yeah,
he's so much fun.
He's one of the funnest players you'll ever watch on and off the field. Whether he's playing football, whether he's acting, whether he's doing anything, you knew you were having a fun time, and also you knew you were getting a bag of Skittles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I do for whatever reason. It's like love Skittles. I find it's probably one of the funniest things about him. Like,
did you ever see the sports science thing on ESPN?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yep.
Like, whenever you thought he hit the wall and he was done,
nope,
it's over. What you thought was his ghost, and he's already 60 yards down the field in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And he's already made 6 other guys juke, or he spun them out of their cleats to where their socks are left.
Or he just ran right through them.
Or he just bullied them right through the line. Also, 2-yard line. What the hell? Just throwing it out there.
Oh my god! Yeah,
you gotta I think he may have the best contact balance of anybody
ever.
It's insane. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, he's up there. He's absolutely up there.
And it wasn't even like he wasn't good when he was with Buffalo. Like, he was a good running back. For whatever reason, when he went to Seattle, God mode.
Because Buffalo didn't use him right. They didn't lean on him. And then when he went to Seattle, they knew, like, okay, we have a workhorse.
Yeah.
We have a guy, so we're going to lean on him. People always talk about, like, oh, you don't win a Super Bowl on the back of your running back.
Marshall should have won 2 Super Bowls on the back of the running back.
Yeah. Marshall Lynch is the example of, you can. You absolutely can still.
So like, my favorite thing with Lynch is that when people use it, it's like, oh, you can win a Super Bowl with a running back, and they bring up Marshawn, and I'm like, well, they didn't draft him, man. They traded for him. Great idea. Trade for a running, because he was there so long that, like, people forget that. It's like Jason Peters. People forget, like, he was there for a few years. Like,
yeah. They forget because, like, he also didn't like being in Buffalo.
I mean, why would you?
He always talked about there's nothing to do, which I know.
Jordan Matthews literally said he had nothing to do with in Buffalo but make babies.
Except make babies, yeah. I do
This is
remember
my
that.
Buffalo baby. It's like, why? Because there ain't nothing to do but for 9 months.
It's true. No disrespect to Buffalo fans. Like I love the fans, but Buffalo in general, yeah, it's.
But I mean, when you look at a guy like Marshawn too, and I give him a lot of respect in the fact that he did it his own way.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
To where even when people told him to do something, he's like, no. Like no, like nothing wrong with like. Not saying he was like uncoachable or anything like that because he wasn't, but like when the NFL came down on him, he's like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Like I don't give a shit. I'm going to do it my way.
And then he did. And
he retired, and he's like, "I guess I'll play for the Raiders."
Yeah, he went back home, and I'm happy you brought that up because I was going to mention that. One of my favorite Marshawn Lynch moments was his first game back, and I think they were like blowing a team out. You see him standing up on the bleachers, just dancing with fans. It was the greatest thing ever.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then out of nowhere, he's like, I guess I could play for Seattle again in a playoff game and score a meaningless touchdown against the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. He is fun. He was so much fun to watch. Yeah, so much fun to watch. Pete, anything else that you wanted to add for Marshawn Lynch? You have him on 13, so.
No, there was when he started doing work like in the media, that's where you got to see like his true personality shine.
Yeah.
And he's one of those like he says a lot by doing a little.
Mm-hmm.
Like his action speaks volumes. His words, you hang on them because he doesn't talk a lot. I mean, he's hard. He doesn't articulate himself very well.
No,
but he means what he says when he says.
It's a different way of speaking, and I mean this all respect, but like his upbringing, that's his talking. Yep. If you get past that, and you like his one press conference when you're talking about like people get like the rookies getting the chickens and taking care of the bread. Like a lot of people, like, if you don't know what he's talking about, you're like, well, what's going on? But
I knew exactly what he was talking about when he said it. I'm like, oh, okay.
About, like, it's a very, very important message, and like, he's such a smart guy.
They brought him over to Princeton to do the commencement ceremony. That's how smart he is.
Yeah, and like one of my favorite off the field moments was before that Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl. With Conan O'Brien, he did that skit where he was with Gronk and they were playing the new Mortal Kombat game. I don't think I've laughed harder on a skit than I did that because I was just dying. I've watched it so many times. But like Marshawn Lynch is so hard to root against. He's someone you love having on your team. I love Marshawn Lynch. Absolutely. All right, so I've got some spots. I've got several spots.
SJM, yes. The answer to your question is yes. They played one season together at Cal.
Yeah. PY's got his number 10 spot to fill. P. Evans, you've got your 14 because I know you're going to go up to 14. Why don't we do this? PY, who's at your 10?
B. West.
B. West.
I think that was a shot in the dark just to get some.
No, I actually did have him at 10.
At 10. Jake, do you have him ranked anywhere?
I had him at 13.
13.
Okay. Or no, 12. I'm sorry. I had him 12. I'm
sorry. Pete, do you have him ranked at all?
Yeah, I was saving it 14 for him. So put the second greatest Eagles running back ever.
Not according to me. This fits because I actually have B. West at number 8.
Okay.
See, and thank you because I knew he was going to be on that list, and it was going to make me not look crazy.
Yes, he's got over 10,000 yards from scrimmage, even with all the seasons where he was banged up.
Yep.
There's not much to say. I mean, with him and McCoy, like we all know. We're all familiar with their games, so like
it's Christian McCaffrey before Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
Yeah, and like we talk about, I refer to Marshall Faulk's football IQ. B. West is the other one where you talk about how smart he was as a football player. Mm-hmm. Like you speak to Andy Reid, and Andy Reid will tell you B. West was one of the smartest football players he's ever coached.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the whole reason. Jake, you know this. That's the whole reason that. He drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round
because he thought he was going to be another.
Because he thought he was close to Brian Westbrook. Like he wanted that type of stuff. And like I don't know if you guys remember me sending you in the chat. They did on The Athletic the Hall of Very Good, right? And Nate Tice, his first guy he mentioned was B West. How B West was one of his favorite players to watch. Like him and Robert Mays were just gushing about B West and how, like, you know, he was ahead of his time. If he played today, he'd be one of the best running backs in the game consistently.
No question.
B West did everything. He's one of the. I think Nate Tice said he's the only running back in NFL history. I could be wrong. One of the only running backs, I forget what the exact stat was, to have 2 rushing, 2 receiving, and 2 return touchdowns. Something like that in a season. Oh, in a season, 2 rushing, 2 receiving, 2 return touchdowns in a season. Yeah, the only running back in NFL history to do so. So, talk about B West. He's just all around. I have him at 8 because there's not a thing that you could ask B West to do that he couldn't do, and you ask him to carry the offense. People forget, outside of the TO year, he was the Eagles' offense. Defenses knew they had to stop B West, and they still couldn't stop him. He still put up those numbers as the only consistent weapon the Eagles had in that Andy Reid era from that time frame. And, like, you know, we talk about legacy and moments. B West has countless playoff moments of greatness, great plays, clutch plays. And, you know, you talk about, like, 2006, McNabb wasn't there. Who was leading that Eagles team? It was B West. B West was put that team on his back in 2006. And that was the season where he said, I am one of the best running backs in the game right now. And I think 2006 was when people started to realize, yeah, this guy is legit. He's not just some scat back. He is a legit, like, running back. He's a legit featured back in this game. So
SJM calling us out, yeah.
Where is SJM? He says, I love B West and mad respect for you guys. There's no way in the blue hell he is ahead of Tiki Barber. I will say that Tiki Barber is on my next tier. Tiki Barber, he was insanely good. He was very, very good. I did not like Tiki Barber's character. Like, in that, if you look at my list, that factors in. So, like, Tiki Barber was never a good teammate. And the more that I researched more about Tiki Barber, you talk to a lot of his former teammates, he wasn't a good teammate at all. And, like, he had a lot of off-field stuff that people didn't like. He was a very selfish guy.
Well, the whole Eli Manning thing, if you remember that whole Eli Manning thing.
Yeah. So Tiki Barber, and so I had to put him down. And plus, Tiki Barber had fumbling issues. I already stated.
I feel so, like, I wish there was, like, 5 more slots.
Right? That's why I did 25. But yeah, you three, I don't know if you have anything else to add for B West.
Just wish you would have. I wish you would have had more help.
Yeah.
I wish he wouldn't have got hurt. I kind of wish Andy would have trusted him earlier in his career with a bigger role.
Yep.
Could be definitely different, but talent-wise, he definitely is in that top 14 to 15 running backs since 2000. I mean, I'm looking at my list, and I really can't. I feel like I should move people up and put Chris Johnson a little lower overall, but take the list with a grain of salt, people.
You can change it at any point. You let me know. Jake and PY, anything to add for B West?
No, it's one of the best Eagles running backs of all time. Again, if he was in today's game, he'd probably be the best running back, or at least one of the best running backs in football, because just his versatility is ridiculous. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think there's also a reason why he's also still one of the fan favorites in in the families. Like, if you count jerseys at a game, B West jersey is going to be one of the.
Oh, they're everywhere. Yeah,
they're everywhere. I'm not trolling. Like, there are more B West jerseys in Philly than there are LeSean McCoy, because of he was part of that era, and his moments were just so so great. Like, you know,
Moments, character. I mean, he probably tips. I mean, there's certain things you can do. You can't.
probably tips.
He tips. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, wow.
Dashed a bottle of fine ass wine over a cop's head, man. Not good.
I forgot.
And also kick the girl off the party bus.
Yep. Put him in a coma.
Like,
not even the fact that he did all that. He then put his highlight reel out on Twitter after it. He's like, "This is let my record speak for itself."
Yeah. I mean, he's also he's a known movie spoiler. Like,
oh yeah, yep. I do remember
balls,
that.
Man.
I do remember that.
Yep. SJM says, opinion from the panel: is Westbrook better than Wilbert Montgomery or Ricky Waters? You guys know how I feel. It's B. West and LeSean McCoy as the top two Eagles running backs.
No one has seen Wilbert Montgomery here. Like, what are we even doing? Like,
I know.
Yeah. So that's I do believe he is better.
Yeah, I agree.
And I will say this: people want to
I'll give him that.
Like, Westbrook is still the all-time franchise leader in yards from scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about just rushing and receiving, he still leads all running backs.
Yep.
So this is how, again, I'm gonna, if you didn't watch that show where it was me and Pete debating Westbrook versus McCoy. This is how I differentiate the arguments. If you're talking about Eagles franchise greats, B. West was the better Eagles running back. If you're talking about overall who had the better career in the NFL, it was without a doubt LeSean McCoy, because LeSean McCoy had the durability and he was able to continue success beyond Philadelphia. Pete said it earlier. Like, he had great years in Buffalo too. And so because of that, McCoy is a borderline Hall of Famer. So, he had the better career. But if you're talking about like at their peak, and if you're talking about just in terms of Eagles players, Westbrook at his peak was, in my opinion, better than McCoy, and he is the better Eagle than McCoy. If it wasn't for Chip Kelly, that could be
certainly a better person. I said certainly the better person.
Clearly the better person. All right. So number 9.
Oh my God.
Here's who I had, who I feel like does forget.
I can't, like, I want to give honorable mentions, but I can't because I think
number 9. To me, he's right on par with B. West.
Okay.
I put B. West over him because it's B. West. But like, if I'm really being honest, like, this is 8B and 8A. I mean 8A and 8B, yeah. But it's Jamal Charles.
Yeah.
That's a solid one.
He talks about him at 12. Jake, do you have him ranked?
I have him at 14.
14. PY, do you have him ranked?
Yeah.
I know you have your 10, but like, would you have him anywhere outside?
I'd probably have him at like 12.
At 12. Okay. So if you look at the reason why I have him this high, if you look at advanced metrics and talk about like advanced stats and stuff like that, Jamal Charles's advanced metrics and what he was able to do independent of his offensive line and what he did in terms of efficiency, his numbers are up there with some of these greats that I had toward the top of the list. Go ask, like, again, I found this out on listening to the Athletic podcast with Nate Tyson, Robert Mays, but his efficiency numbers are off the charts, absolutely off the charts. And people always ask me, like, the common debate, because they played around the same era and they were always compared to each other, Jamal Charles or LeSean McCoy, who was better. To me, Jamal Charles was absolutely better. It was more versatile, more explosive, and just more efficient than McCoy ever was. And I don't mean that to bash, but that's just how highly I think of Jamal Charles. So like, I have him at 9. I wish I could have had him higher, but obviously longevity plays a factor. But yeah, look at his seasons. He was insane. Him and Peyton Manning are the reasons why I won my first fantasy football championship back in, was it 2013 or 2012? One of those years. But yeah, Jamal Charles was a beast. He was a beast. Pete, anything to add? Because you do have him ranked at 12.
Not me, fantasy stud. I mean, someone could say he was better than Priest Holmes, but I mean, Priest was just a monster.
Yeah.
Just a monster. But I mean, Jamal tries just once again do it all. When there's a great comparison when you said 8A, 8B between him and Westbrook. I mean, once again, like it's just an overall back. You know what I mean? Just the overall running back, inside, outside, can catch, can block, fast. This really could do it all. But I mean, I'm just not going to be happy. The more and more I look at my list, I'm upset. Outside of the top 4, it's a fucking crapshoot. Like, even though I love Clinton Portis, to have him that high, I mean, no, fuck it. I gotta. This is my bet. I'll lie in it.
You let me know if you want to alter it. It's never too late to alter.
I mean, like,
until we put the graphic out.
But like, I feel like if I take Clinton out of 5, I don't feel like LeSean deserves 5. I don't feel like anybody below him deserves 5.
I think Priest Holmes does.
Number 5 will always love you.
I mean, I would be more inclined to put, for me, this is just for me, I value, and I'm surprised the way I have it is just how the names came up. But I probably would say I like Jamal. I've been a bigger Jamal Charles fan over Priest Holmes. That's just me.
And that's fine. Yeah, that's very close between those two. Yeah, I can see arguments for all of them. Yeah, to me, like 6 to 10, especially as you can see, Priest Holmes, Fred Taylor, B. West, Jamal Charles, LeSean McCoy. That chunk, that little group right there was so close, so damn close for me. So I'm splitting hairs. And that's why I said, like, yeah, I have McCoy lower than you guys, but in reality, I really could see you making an argument for 6. So I get it. I totally get it. Jake, who do you have at 11? Because I know you said you're going to go more.
Give me Curtis Martin.
Didn't you have him at 7? Told me put him at 7.
Oh no, I did have him at 7. You're right. I'm sorry. Give me
the first double appearance.
Give me Freddie T.
Fred Taylor. Okay, we talked about him already. And then I will give my 11 as we come to the near the end. This guy has been mentioned already in the chat several times. Well, these two have been mentioned in the chat several times, but Steven Jackson. Pete, I don't know if you remember, I had him at 10, but he got booted because I bumped up Fred Taylor. But I had him at 10 years ago, and I remember you and Chrome were like, "Really? Why Steven Jackson?" If you look back on his career number,
that's you don't know it.
You know how good Steven Jackson was. Steven Jackson, man. Like I remember I read somewhere someone was like, he is the original beast mode, and that fits. Like he was 6'3" or 6'4", 240 pounds, and he was fast, he had burst, like, oh my god, he was Steven Jackson, and being on a horrible Rams teams pretty much his whole career. And he still put up those monster numbers. That's insane. That's insane.
Mark Bulger, anyone?
Mark Bulger. The SJM keeps saying Warwick Dunn. I know he's brought him up. Warwick Dunn, like, he was fun to watch, but I can't put him.
I put Willis McGahee over Warwick Dunn.
There's a lot of people I put over Warwick Dunn, but I love Warwick Dunn. Warwick Dunn was a good player. Number 12, and this name was also mentioned already earlier. Matt Forte.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Did you guys know that Matt
How did
Forte,
I forget about Matt Forte?
Matt Forte, quietly, and it's the reason why I say quietly is because when you think of him, he was never considered like number 1, number 2, right? Because of other guys. But this is why he's ranked close with Frank Gore. But guys, he finished his career with 14,463 yards from scrimmage. The only season where he didn't finish with over 1,000 yards from scrimmage was his very last season in 2017. That was it. Every year he had over 1,000 yards from scrimmage.
He was so good.
That's consistency. That, like, again, he at his peak, similar to Frank Gore, at his peak he was never elite.
Right.
But when you're getting to this range, like, yeah, that consistency for that long.
That one Bears squad was just legit from like top to bottom with him. Like,
Joe Gronkowski caught 100 balls a year. He was at Matt Forte, Lev Bell. Like someone had said, like Matt Forte was Lev Bell before Lev Bell, and
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
That
that
the craziness.
makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very, very good point.
Yeah, fill in my last spot with Matt Forte.
Matt Forte, yeah, Forte. He was just good, very, very, very good for so long. And we forget he even was pretty decent with the Jets when he moved on. He had a few good seasons with the Jets too.
Don, to answer your question, he's at a buffet somewhere.
Who he had a question?
Eddie Lacy.
Oh, Eddie Lacy.
He's at a buffet somewhere.
I was about to say, like, I was thinking about it. It's like when you said Will Forte, I was like,
Yeah.
that's not that guy. That's the other guy. I'm like, I had to think about it for a second.
So this is pretty much our list. I know that Joe wanted me to read off who I have. All right. So I didn't really put them into tiers or like this is a rough order. So this is just who I'd have from 15 to 25. Again, no real particular order. But names I would mention would be Christian McCaffrey, Marshawn Lynch, Lev Bell, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Tiki Barber, Zeke Elliott, Ray Rice. I know, don't kill me. Ray Rice, Chris Johnson, Todd Gurley, Arian Foster, Jamal Lewis, Corey Dillon, and Maurice Jones-Drew. Those would be like my 15 to 25. Again, no particular order, but roughly that's it.
So no Eddie George for you. That's
no Eddie George. Yeah, it's just missed it.
Another one that you didn't mention would be honorable mention for me, Ricky Williams.
He was. I thought about putting him up there.
Had him at 11.
Yep.
Okay.
Ricky Williams.
And then SJM also had another one very slept on, Amon Green.
Oh, one too.
So I had Ricky Williams in the top 10.
That's the first one I forgot about. Wow,
Green.
that was very good. Very good name. Very good names.
What were you saying, Pete?
I said I had Ricky Williams in the top 10 until the first 5 minutes of the show.
Here's the thing with Ricky Williams: like, if you're building a franchise, can you trust
It's legal
him?
now.
I can trust him now because weed is 100% okay, and you're not going to get suspended.
Depending on where you're at, though, and the league still outlaws it.
Mm-hmm.
They're
just less lenient or more lenient with it.
Yeah, they don't give a shit no more. They're done. You're not going to can for weed.
That's why I didn't include Ricky Williams. But yeah, and if we're talking about just talent alone, yeah, Ricky Williams would be top 10. Ricky Williams is great.
It's tough.
You know what? I'm going to make sure Denver drafts him, and then I'm going to get him a weed sponsor. Like commercials all over the place.
Joe says he brought another good one. He was looking at stats in 2003. Deuce McAllister had 2,200 yards from scrimmage.
That's a baller last name. I won't lie.
Deuce McAllister is a great name. All right. So for the poll question, guys, here's what I want to do. Because the poll question is we're going to start seeing less and less running backs inducted to the Hall of Fame. I'm going to run down my personal list just for examples, okay? So just so we can see. I'm going to run down each player's the years that they played, and we're going to spot the trend. And it kind of goes toward what Pete was saying a little while ago. LT played from 2001 to 2011. Marshall Faulk, 1994 to 2005. AP 07 to 2021. Jesus Christ. Adrian James, 1999 to 2009. Curtis Martin, 95 to 2005. Priest Holmes, 1997 to 2007. Fred Taylor, 1998 to 2010. B. West, 2002 to 2010. Jamal Charles, 2008 to 2018. LeSean McCoy, 2009 to 2020. Steven Jackson, 2004 to 2015. Matt Forte, 2008 to 2017. Sean Alexander, 2000 to 2008. And Frank Gore, 2005 to 2020. Most of the chunk of those names happened early 2000s or around the 2010s. The only exceptions are AP, who ended in 2021, but he was in the twilight of his career. We have LeSean McCoy, 2020, but again, he was in the twilight of his career. And then after that, it was like, Jamal Charles in 2018, but twilight of his career. Matt Forte, 2017. So those four are the only ones who kind of went into the late 2010s and broke kind of into 2020s. There is a trend, Pete. So what were you saying earlier about
just how the running back position? How, for one, It's interesting though, right? How many people on this list in this era, they saw at least 2 or 3 contracts?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen now. So the whole way the league views the running back position, the money, follow the money. Follow the money. Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb. I mean, that's probably 4 or 5.
Yep.
But everyone on this list saw 2 or 3 contracts as the number one guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that shows you right there who and what the league thinks of the running back position. Mm-hmm. And it's like you're not going to see careers span that long at that high of a level. I mean, Christian McCaffrey now is what, on his 6th or 7th year?
Huh.
Something like that.
2, 3, 7th year.
Ah, see, somebody's paying attention.
Mm-hmm. 7th year.
Yeah, so
you know how old he is?
20, isn't he like 28?
Yeah, 27, 28.
Let's see age. He is 27.
27.
So 27, right? Would we say in today's game, he is pretty much like he's only got what, a year or 2 left, right? Would that be a realistic expectation?
He may have longer because he missed a couple years too because he was hurt.
He missed a couple years. So okay, maybe like a few, right? He's got a few years left, right? Okay. Guys, his career numbers, yards from scrimmage, he's only at 8,482.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays, let's just hypothetically say he's in his, he does well, produces for another 3 years. That's another 3,000 yards. So finish with what? 10,000, 11,000 yards.
That's not going to get it done.
That's not going to get it done, is it?
Nope.
Let's look at Nick Chubb. Okay, Nick Chubb stats. Because he's the other one we would consider best running back.
He's been at least 6 years now, right?
He's been 6 years. He's at yards from scrimmage 7,331. Not gonna get it done.
No.
Derrick Henry. Let's look at another one. One more because we thought
maybe. I think he's like 8,000 something.
He is at 8,335. And we talked about like he's very close. Any year now he could drop off, right? So again, realistically, if we're projecting 10,000, 11,000.
I mean, the thing with Henry though is he had historic seasons.
Yep. He did.
If he gets it, he can get in with getting to like 10,000 from scrimmage.
Yeah,
potentially.
But see, that is where we are going to. It's going to be a struggle because if it takes that, like how many running backs are going to get that type of opportunity to do something like that?
They just don't hand the ball off. That's the reason why Nick Chubb, his scrimmage yards are so low because he had those couple years with Kareem Hunt.
Yep, and you know, Derrick Henry is featured. He is the centerpiece of that offense. Yep. Christian McCaffrey is featured. He's a centerpiece of the offense, but their career numbers are still lacking compared to a lot of these guys. You're talking about a lot of these guys who are on the top of the list, guys. 15,000 to like close to 20,000 yards from scrimmage. That is the number. That is the number they put in their career. And these are Hall of Famers. But these guys are barely scratching 10,000. Barely scratching 10,000. LeSean McCoy is at what I think we said like 12. Was it around 12,000?
He has 11,000 yards running. He has over almost 4,000 yards receiving. So he's at almost 15,000 yards overall.
15,000 yards. And so he's almost at 15,000 yards. He's borderline. People consider he's not. People don't consider him a shoo-in. Like I think he should get in. I do think McCoy should get in. But am I wrong in saying that he's probably not first ballot?
No, there's only one first ballot Hall of Famer on this list that's not already in the Hall of Fame. Y'all know who that is.
Wait, who?
It's Gore. It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, he has almost 20,000 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah, yep. I agree. And it takes these outlandish like exceptions, these outliers, because Derrick Henry is an outlier because you're not going to see a lot of running backs like him. Like, and then LeSean McCoy, outlier because he hasn't played in this 2020s era. Nope. So I absolutely agree to the poll. Unless the Hall of Fame committee and the voters are going to collectively agree to adjust their criteria in terms of what they look at for consideration, if they start to amend, it depends on how soon they're going to start to amend what they look at, because they go off right now. They go off career numbers and like how special you do like in a span of what, like 4 to 5 years, correct?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take them to start to look at advanced metrics and stats like that. When I brought up Jamal Charles, the only hope that Jamal Charles ever has of getting the Hall of Fame is if you bring up advanced metrics and talk about, okay, what did he do outside of this? What did he do when he was on the field? How efficient was he as a runner? That's the only chance he ever has. And I think that's the only chance that any of these running backs in today's game are going to have to make the Hall of Fame. It's unfortunate.
I think Fred Taylor gets in before anybody from this era playing football right now. Matt Forte may be a sneaky. So I think more
Matt Forte could be
from this list get into the Hall of Fame before the first era of play, like any 2020 running backs get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Based on the current trend.
I agree.
Yep. Yeah, James says our running back position is tough due to the usage in college. NFL teams don't build around running backs. Most teams have problems finding 2 or 3 really good linemen, let alone a premier running back.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, NFL has turned into more pass friendly by default to protecting QBs and the PI rules.
Mm-hmm.
It is very
difficult. Is that true though? Because a lot of wide receivers from this era get in. Like this era that we're looking at since 2000, if we look at the crux of when a lot of these guys play, wide receivers from that time get in.
Yep.
I mean, I can go down. Shit, Adrian James played with 2 of them.
Yeah, he did.
Reggie Wayne, Marshall Faulk.
Yep.
I mean, not Reggie.
Marvin
Harrison.
Yeah.
I mean, Fred Taylor didn't. LT. I mean, he had Tony Gonzalez. Who else did he have? That's about it as far as wide receivers. I mean, that's a skill, another skill position. Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes really did. I mean, who was a wide receiver?
LT, to correct you, sorry. LT had Antonio Gates.
Yep.
Priest Holmes and Jamal Charles had Tony Gonzalez. Yep.
So did LT have
Antonio Gates?
No, I thought Tony didn't. Tony wasn't Tony. No, Tony. I thought Tony was he always in Kansas City? I could have sworn he played for. I may be way off.
Kansas City, and then Atlanta.
All right.
Yeah.
So Gates, he had Vincent Jackson. God rest his soul. Yeah. Who was the other wide receiver they had too?
Why can't I remember either?
Yeah, I can't.
Had Vincent Jackson and somebody else. Oh my God, why isn't it
Deshaun?
No,
it
was a tall. It was another tall, light-skinned dude.
Oh my God, what the hell?
Not Keenan McCardle. Keenan McCardle was in a slot, and he killed. He was a baller in Jacksonville too. But in San Diego though, with LT. What was the? I gotta go look at the 06.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up. Yeah, I talked to look. I can't find it. Actually, does say it's Keenan McCardell. I feel like there was someone else.
He says and Tampa.
Yeah. But yeah, I think so. So is it unanimous? Do we all agree that it's going to be harder for the
yes.
Yeah, it's going to be much harder, 100%.
Yeah. Do we now I do think there's one more nugget of hope. Again, I get all this. I'm telling you, like these podcasts I listen to, The Athletic and from The Ringer, like they have really good off-season topics. So if you guys really want to like expand your knowledge of like in-depth NFL stuff, like listen to these podcasts. But they were doing a pod with Ben Solak, and they were talking about their takeaways from the top 2022 offenses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So guys, like the best teams in the league, the best offenses, they actually their bread and butter actually was not explosive plays. It was efficient offense, being able to move the chains consistently, get positive yardage little by little, get them the field. Also, their running attacks were tops in the league. So the running.
You think it's
attack,
going to be resurgence to the running back position?
The running game is starting to keep so, and they acknowledge why. Why is the reason? What is the reason for that? Think about it, guys. We talk about the trend of the defenses in today's game.
Remember, I said this shit years ago.
Too high, right? They're playing more too high to stop explosive plays because that was the key to the good offense. What do offenses do to counter that? Because of too high, if you're playing too high, you have less in the box. So what do? You run the ball. So that could be a nugget of hope for running backs to where this could be the trend of where the running game is going to start to be more and more valuable. So maybe that gives some hope. So we will see. We don't know.
And to coincide with that, to piggyback off your point, not just the fact that defenses play more too high, the reason why Jalen Hurts can sneak the ball like he can behind that offensive line is because we talked about it with these guys, right? The type of defensive linebackers and defensive ends and tackles that they played against compared to, we just took one at 30 overall, Noel Smith. He'd be a linebacker.
Yeah. Smalls. Yeah.
He'd be a linebacker. So you take advantage of that. You take advantage when the running game takes advantage of the size or lack thereof and teams' front sevens on defense.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's no secret that teams that stop the run really well have a defensive tackle or a nose tackle that's over 320 pounds, 330 pounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Sue we picked Sue up off the street because we needed somebody like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know it's 100% correct because when you're playing the too high, you need that nose tackle to eat up space because he needs to be able to two gap because you don't have the extra defender there to take care of the one gap, to take care of your run fits. So, like, you need a nose tackle. So, yeah, it is absolutely trending up for the running game. So, maybe we will start to see. And there's an influx of talent at running back. I mean, we've got, obviously, Bijan. Last year, we got influx of Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall, who are studs. Before that, we have Javonte Williams, who's coming back. Hopefully, he stays healthy, who's a stud. We obviously had Najee Harris and Travis Etienne in the same class. So there's an influx of really, really good talent that if they get the opportunity, they could put up amazing numbers. It's just a matter of, again, the hiccup is, are they going to see a second contract? Right. That's where it falls off.
Or can they last a second contract?
They last a second contract. Very, very good point. Yep. Oh, and Joe and SJM, Malcolm Floyd.
That's a good name.
Malcolm Floyd was
that was him.
That was the.
But also, I'll talk about it in no huddle.
Okay. So let's move on. So guys, awesome, because this was great. I think
I think was our best list. I think
this was an amazing list. It's all over the place, but I love it for that reason. I love it for that reason. I absolutely do. I don't think there's any outside of PY having LeSean McCoy at 4. I think that's
dig in.
I think that's the only one where I'm like, what? Yeah. So no huddle, guys. What you got this week? What's on the docket?
I'm gonna go watch Superman.
This is still sports related. So for me, it's the fact that we just had this list. We did this exercise, right? We talk about all-time greats. Meanwhile, I don't know what the NFL is going to do because I feel like they make the most money as a league in revenue, right? And I understand NBA rosters are smaller. But, bro, when Dylan Brooks is getting 4 years, $80 million, and you got top elite players in the league like Christian McCaffrey, like other skill positions and wide receivers, tight ends, and they can't even sniff half of that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's sickening, bro.
The NBA is they're an international league. Like
that's the big difference.
The NFL should be an international league, but they're not. Like they're trying, but like ever since 2002, 2003, where they started hitting the China market, they really started hitting really hard in Europe and everything. They've gone out of their way to just not be an American game. It's a world game now when it comes to the NBA, and that's why.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it costs less. It's easier to play. It's not as physical. And honestly, more guys are walking around just average Joes that probably have built-in skill sets to play basketball versus playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I also think this is also to that point as well. I think somebody said it. The college game has changed to where, like, these guys, by the time they get to the league, bro, they just don't have it.
Yeah.
They've killed themselves, and now that you're getting mad at dudes in college, like, why is he sitting out that last year? Yeah, because he's spent.
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear it like that. This
$600 million.
This right here.
That's a good point.
Baseball is losing money. This, that, and the third. Dog, this man about to get. I've heard offers of like 15 years, 500.
He might get $1 billion. I'm calling it right now.
I would give him $1 billion.
I would give him $1 billion.
And they said he's two players.
Yeah, he is. He's a phenomenal pitcher.
How old is he though?
He's like 24, 25.
No. He's
older than that.
Really? I thought he was younger.
Shohei Ohtani is.
He's like 26, 27.
29. He's 29.
Really?
But I mean, in baseball, that's nothing in baseball.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, baseball, you can play well into your 30s.
If I'm him and I'm two players, I'm like this. I'm like, listen, so I can see another contract. Give me 5 years, $400 million. I want to push the annual average value close to $100 million as I can if I'm him.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm like, where's you hear base? I think baseball's kind of having a resurgence a little bit. I think some prices have come down, but I still don't understand. And baseball is different than baseball is different than football because you can say at basketball, fully guaranteed contracts, global game. I understand baseball is a global game too, but baseball organizations, first, I don't know if they're turning over the same revenue, right? Two, you got single A, double A, triple A, and you got the big leagues. You got to support if you're a club. Now, don't get me wrong, single A, double A, triple A, they all kind of generate revenue in some point, in some fashion. But you can't sit here and talk about what needs to change in the game of baseball, add a pitch clock, and then pay this dude $500 million. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure how to feel about the pitch clock. I think it's worked really well. Here's my issue with baseball. I've always been a baseball fan. I love it. It's one of my favorite sports. My issue is it's the fans. It's not the normal fans like us. It's the 70-year-old dude who's pissed because, oh my God, he hit a home run when they're up 10. They stole second base when they're up 15. This is bullshit. Yeah, he bat flip was crap.
Yeah, like the unspoken rules of baseball.
That's the one. No, I agree with you, Pete.
Shit about those unspoken rules.
I hear you.
It's the dumbest that one of my favorite things is what's the dude from the Padres?
Juan Soto or Tatis?
Tatis, right? So they're up 10, bases loaded, 3-0 pitch, and then they throw it down the middle, expecting him to walk away, and he knocks the shit out of the ball. Grand slam. They're up an additional 4 runs.
Yeah, they don't like.
No kid. And the opposing coach is like, "Oh, that's Bush League. That's bullcrap.
Yeah,
that's unprofessional." And then you got fans saying, well, they should beat him next time he's up. I'm like, are you out of your goddamn mind? Like, this is why people don't like baseball should be one of the most popular sports. And it's not because of that old grandpa thinking. It just drives me crazy.
Well, it's that, and it has a code of conduct that starts all the way from 5-year-old, 4-year-old, and T-ball that goes all the way out. You know what I mean? So it's shit behind it. But, I mean, I trust me, I don't like it either. All I know is, well, all this shit, I don't understand how the NFL doesn't have guaranteed contracts. That's what's pissing me off the most. Like because as a league, you generate the most money, and you had the shortest season.
It's because they don't do fully guaranteed contracts for all the players or all the contracts because of the possibility, the risk of injury for their players is more is higher. Yeah. Is higher than
and I agree with that. So in the new CBA, give me shorter contracts, more guaranteed. Max contract should be 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Okay. 4 years, and then make it fully guaranteed. And whatever you do from there, that's it. You get rid of signing bonus or anything else like that. And I think it'll take some weight off the players' shoulders as well. When you don't see all the posture and all this bullshit like Slay did. Now, you know what I mean?
I hear you, and I think I have to look more into it because, like, again, the CBA stuff and contract stuff, it's so complicated for the NFL. But I think the union has been pushing for stuff like that, but the league is there's so much against players, and this is why, like, we might be the only show that has this stance, but I think we all agree when it comes to contracts in the NFL, I almost always side with the player. Because they need to get their money.
Yep.
And I know people on the station will disagree. They don't agree with that statement.
How much money do you need? Like, bitch, I'm working for 5 years of my life.
Right.
And then my life expectancy is 65, 70, 75 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So for 80% of my life, I'm not going to have.
You need this. Yeah. You need.
Yeah. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the deadliest catch on crack.
And not to mention, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but they're doing something that not everyone can do.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you have something you can do that is unique, go and do it and make money off of it.
Exploit it.
Exploit it. Like, don't. If you do something, if you're great at something, don't do it for free. Remember that saying? Like, that's what it is. But, like, yeah, it's very complicated. But, like, there's so much against these players in the CBA. Like, the whole thing with that team option for first round players, that hurts first round players because players that are drafted in the first round, they're getting
keeps you under contract longer.
They're getting paid less for a longer period of time than a second round player.
Yep.
Let's think about that. And then a franchise tag, you know how much that works against the players as well. Like, there's so many things. Like, when I first started learning about the CBA, when there was a possible lockout and everything like that a few years ago, and all the things that the union wanted to try to amend, it's insane how much they have working against them. It's insane. But again, it's the
cap needs to go up. The franchise tags that shit needs to go away. Guaranteed contract, 4 years max, and watch. Because this now what you do is you put it on the team. If you, like, Saquon's situation right now, right? You get to a point, no franchise tag, 4-year contract max, fully guaranteed. So now the Giants can't just say, all right, well, listen, how can I say this? At your job, if you got a workload, right, and you know you got some shit that need to be done, you literally with a franchise tag can say, okay, I won't do it now. I'll put it off and I'll pay it next. Like, it's almost like, all right, so you're not a job, but it's almost like credit.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like interest free. Like, I can pay you this and don't have to worry about really paying you what you're worth until not next year, but I can do this again to you 2 years. I can do it 2 years in a row.
And again, yeah.
Like, I don't understand, because listen, here's the thing. I think the owners know, and it's a little bit different in basketball. Basketball, you really follow the players. Baseball, you really follow the players, but you got diehards who follow the club. Where in football, it's
all the teams.
It's teams. They don't.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, even sitting here for us, but, like, ultimately, whatever the Eagles do, they do some dumb shit. You still gonna have sold out tickets. You know what I mean? Still gonna have a wait list for season tickets, and the owners know that shit. And so until the players get to the point to where, like, the only player that I think that really could do that shit is if Mahomes just say, I'm walking away.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that wasn't Bradford's fault. Like, they paid him, they gave him the money. They didn't.
But that's the reason why the rules are different now, because Bradford.
It wasn't even just like him. Like, every rookie quarterback
Mario Williams
on that bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, who was the last one to get the real big one? Was it Stafford?
It was Bradford. I'm pretty sure.
Bradford was the last one.
Yeah, because he earned.
Bradford's younger than Stafford, right? I forget about that.
Yeah, and throughout Bradford's career, I think he's earned over $100 million.
Yep.
Let me see, Sam Bradford.
Even Nick Foles.
Because
nobody knows how to make money.
The money kept getting higher each draft year.
Yep.
So with Sam Bradford being the last one, his was astronomical, and then
That's what it was.
And then, like, I see Don that says Bobby Bonilla. That Bobby Bonilla shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
But every July 1st, he's getting what, 1.135, like 1.1.
Yeah, 1.1. Yeah, 1.2.
It's different for him though, because that 1.1 don't spend like the same 1.1 he did 20 years ago. I don't know how long he's been out of the league.
15 years.
Yeah.
Take out Bobby Bonilla and you insert Max Scherzer. Go look at Max Scherzer shit.
Yep.
And that bitch just signed another contract.
Yep.
He put it. I think he getting paid from the Washington Nationals for what, 30 years or some shit like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
And he signed multiple contracts since then.
Let's see, Max.
That's why I'm a big proponent. Like if you at a certain level in your sport, 2-year deal, 1-year deal, like Juan Soto just did. Juan Soto, 24 years old. Padres signed him 1 year, $23.9 million.
Mm-hmm.
He can wait to get the bag. You know what I mean?
But, well, I mean, he got less than what Washington offered him.
Yep.
But still, he's 24. I mean, is he taking a chance on himself? Yeah, he surely is. But
the way that team's looking right now, that was a chance I would not have taken.
But
I think
also,
I think that's where, like, because I agree, because I've been saying for years now, like,
basketball's
for
a
running back,
it don't count
for running backs. If I'm a running back and I want a big payday, then give me a 2-year contract with the highest, as high of a cap hit that you can, and then I'm good. Like, if you don't want to pay me long term, like, pay me for 2 years for like a $20 million cap hit, and that way you have the flexibility of getting rid of me if something happens to me.
Yeah.
That is fine. But I know with a lot of players, the reason they don't do that is because they want the long-term security.
Yep.
At the position, and they don't want that short stint. I understand that. I just think that if I'm a running back, I have to consider that. But I mean, I can't stop them if they want to go for the long-term security. That's what they want.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. It's absolutely right. I don't understand it.
That's why I don't fall for the trap every year, Rye. I'm done.
They re-signed Montrezl.
I'm done.
They re-signed Trez?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yep.
After signing Mobamba?
Uh-huh.
Yep. So means B-ball Paul's gone.
Yep. So
let me just.
I was already out. I was already out the door anyway. But I'm even more out the door.
I'm very happy that Jake said this, because I've been saying this for weeks, and I just want to say it live on air so we have a of it.
They're terrible.
He's the worst GM in all of Philadelphia. Give me Danny Briere over Daryl Morey's bitch ass every day of the week.
What is Elton Brand even doing now?
Briere's
he's just there. He's just
sitting there. He's sitting there collecting a check. That's all he's doing.
Been the GM for what, a month? Not even.
Damn right, and he's a damn good month.
He's doing more. He's doing.
And
so
that
far. Him and Jones know where it's at right now.
And that supposed phenom that the Flyers drafted, I know they said he was supposed to be for another 3 years. He might come over next year.
I think the earliest he can do is 2 years. I think the earliest he can do is 2 years because he's under contract.
That's fine.
Well, they can just buy him out.
Real quick,
I want this and B. You know what? Just make my day. This request a trade. You go to them and you say, if y'all
I said this at the beginning of the offseason.
I'm out of here. I'm out.
Yeah, dude, blow the whole thing up. Who cares? You don't have a draft pick till what, 2029?
No, they have one. They just can't give away back-to-backs.
Yeah, I'm good.
Blow it up. Blow it up.
Hey, we're on Philly's Eagles season, okay? And maybe like sometime I'll care about the Flyers once the Russian kid comes over.
The point I was going to make, one thing in baseball, real quick, back to the contract talk, is that's why you see players like Trey Turner getting these big deals like Bryce, because the one thing I will say in baseball is we talk about the fifth year player option in the NFL. This whole control shit.
Oh, they screw them.
And oh my God, when they send you down just so they can add, so you can't become arbitration eligible. That's why you see Trey Turner being like 29 years old, or Shohei Ohtani being 29 years old before he can really get the contract that he deserves. Yeah. I've seen, like, I think I saw Joe said Bryce Harper at $28 million seemed like it was a lot of money. Now it's still 6 years from now, but you got to make up for those 6 years, because when he was in the league for the first 5 or 6, he was getting paid peanuts and giving production like an MVP.
Yep.
So,
remember, he came in at 8. He was up there by 19.
Well, Bryce Harper's a very rare exception.
Yeah.
A guy like
there's
Bryce
not
Harper,
many 19-year-olds who are brought up.
Well, who gets drafted and then comes up within like a year. That doesn't happen in baseball. That never happens.
You always had one guy like that's happened to.
Yeah, I forget who it was, but
it was the grandson of the owner.
Yeah. Getting to Pete's point, and kind of just blending it together with MLB and NFL contracts. With baseball, they have a thing to where if you play for a certain amount of time, you're covered for life.
Yep.
If you play because Bryce Harper just got it. If you play in the league, I think it's for 10 years, like since your debut date. If you continue to play in the major leagues till then, you get a yearly salary, which is like one check every year, plus health care and benefits. Wow. That's the other issue with the NFL. The NFL doesn't do that either, especially for their Hall of Fame. And I know Ray Lewis kind of made light of it when he went in the Hall of Fame, and he wants guys to. Now, mind you, he said guys that were in the Hall of Fame. I get where he was coming from, but at the same time, you got to take care of some of the guys that didn't make it. So they need to do that for sure, because the NFL career is way shorter than Major League Baseball.
Yep. Yeah.
So just like the big thing is too, like give them health care at least, because all the medical issues I hear about these guys have after their career.
What was the one guy, the linebacker played from Tampa? I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he needed a liver because he kept popping Tylenols, which was taking like 10 Tylenols a day.
That the NFL gave him.
Yeah, and I can't remember his name, but he needed a liver transplant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
But you hear too many stories. But it's almost like the NFL and the NFL owners know it too.
Oh yeah. At
least if you don't do it from a league standpoint, because you know how Jeffrey Lurie can really fuck the league. If you're an Eagles player and you play for me for 5 years, 6 years, whatever, you get health care for life. Because then what's going to happen when that happens? That's going to make every other player want to play here.
Come here. Yep.
Yeah.
And play cheap as shit. So when you have one owner do that and make it a club thing, then everybody else.
Well, that's going to start.
Jerry Jones will be sending Jeffrey Lurie death threats.
That's going to be a whole.
Well, what do you mean you're trying to help out the fellas? That's not how we do things here.
You might force another lockout if you do that, though, too. Yeah. Which, again, I'm not against, and if it makes the product better and it makes the players' lives after football better, I'm all for it. Yeah. But that's what would happen more than anything. As soon as players around the league get even a hint of that, they're all going to start talking.
They'll be all over it. Yeah.
Then they'll be like, I'm not playing until I get what Jeffrey Lurie is giving these guys. And then there will be owners that fight back. And then it's going to get to the NFLPA. And then they're going to have to talk about the CBA. And then there's going to be a whole fight with that and blah, blah, blah.
And the BBA and TPA.
And the only other profession that should unionize like that, it will never happen. Never happen.
WWE, yes.
Yes.
It's been saying that since like 1987. Come on now.
And then he became the governor, but it's all true. You have to take a sacrifice to preserve the future in everything. Right?
That's why he ain't cool with Hulk Hogan no more.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan still got a badge on his arm though, so
he does.
He may not be able to do nothing with it, but
it's all right.
It is what it is. So, but it's frustrating because in about 8 weeks time, we'll be sitting here gearing up for opening week, right?
Yep.
And then
I'm already there.
We start right now. We're looking at the lens of these players through a lens of they're human. They're human beings, just like me and you. They have families they have to take care of. They have bigger families they have to take care of, bigger teams that they have to support. Mm-hmm. They mean more to a larger group of people than we do, right? So, but come week 1, week 2, it's rah, like we cuss them motherfuckers out. Like that, they lose their humanity for those 17 weeks.
Yep, they do.
You see what I'm saying? Like people forget like these are actual human beings.
Yep.
Yeah.
That have a life outside of this, what you see for them 3 hours on Sunday. You know what I mean? So it's just from that. It's just frustrating. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton got like the amount of $200 million contracts that came out of the NBA since free agency started a week ago.
Every time I see the NBA free agency contracts, I get sick. Like if you're just a marginal like role player in the NBA, you're getting paid.
That's why when people want to play basketball,
right?
Kids want to play basketball more than they want to play football.
Yeah, because you don't even have to be like a top tier player. If you just make, what do you call it? If you're just like say like a regular guy who gives like 12 points a game, a couple rebounds, whatever.
You're getting $60 million.
Yeah, 100%. There's
when
what do you call
CJ
it? There's
McConnell left, I told people he'd get 40, and they're like, "You're crazy," and he got close.
Thank you. Yeah.
Here's the thing: when it comes to NBA contract, this is just me. It's like everyone gets like crazy over Tobias's contract. I don't care. Like it doesn't do anything to me because here's the thing: it's one thing if you're the dumb son of a bitch that offers him that money. Mm-hmm. You're stupid. You did that. Here's the thing: anyone else would have given him that money. It's the same thing. It's the same thing anywhere else. Mm-hmm. No one in the NBA minus 3 guys is worth their contract. Right. LeBron, Giannis, and Jokic right now. Like, you want to throw Embiid in there and a few other guys? I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. Like, that's it. Like 4 or 5 guys out of 200 people who play in the NBA are worth their contracts. Right. Like remember, they were giving Chandler Parsons like $80 million. What was another ridiculous? Mozgov got $100 million.
Yeah,
and the point is, it's not hollow numbers. Like these are guaranteed contracts.
Guaranteed contracts. Yeah.
Like that's
imagine handing Timothy Mozgov $100 million.
Crazy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Hold on, real quick, just because I'm curious. Just want to see something real quick.
Secret Invasion so far has been great.
Yeah, I heard it's really good.
I watched the first episode. I really like it. I can't wait to continue watching. So I'm
still in the midst of like finishing like 15 different shows right now.
I know. So we started a little bit of The Witcher, but then So my godson, Mary's nephew, he's staying with us for like 3 weeks, and he's a huge anime guy. Pete, he would love talking to you about anime. He's making us watch Demon Slayer.
Oh,
we started watching Demon Slayer. Yeah, we're on episode 9-ish, I think.
First season?
First season, yeah.
Yes, there's 26 episodes in the first season.
Yeah, he's big on Demon Slayer.
Second, this season was short. It's like 12.
Season 3?
Yeah, season. But you gotta maybe for the music, look up Lisa. She sings the theme song.
Yo, it's I will say this, it's a lot easier to watch than Naruto because
Naruto's a lot
faster paced than Naruto.
Well, because you in Naruto it sucks because like you can go like you can have like 10 episodes straight where it's like main story important things, and then you have 20 episodes just filler.
That's why I stopped watching Boruto.
It's 900 episodes of bullshit. Let's just be honest.
That's real. Yeah.
Like,
One Piece is the same way.
Yep,
1,000 episodes.
Yeah, I'm not about that. I respect Naruto, but some like
it's the Seinfeld of anime.
I don't know how I'm gonna ever get.
How do you know when it's over?
I thought DBZ was bad with battles lasting for multiple episodes. No, Naruto.
DBZ, them bitches be in the air floating for 6 episodes, telepathically talking to each other.
Yeah, Frieza says Namek's gonna blow in 5 minutes. Mind you, like 10 episodes later.
Flashbacks. Oh god.
Yeah. Nothing but flashbacks.
So you enjoy Demon Slayer though.
Yep.
Yeah,
so speaking of episodes,
I like it so far. So
go ahead.
The new Superman animated series comes on at midnight, and I'm so excited.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Oh my god, yeah! It's a new Superman animated series in an anime style. It's beautiful.
Nice.
Where?
It's at midnight. It's on at on Adult Swim, and then it's going to be on Max the next day.
On Max. I'm assuming it's going to be on Max. Yeah.
Jack Quaid from The Boys is voicing him.
Christopher Nolan, Don, Christopher Nolan all the way.
I mean, they're both douches, but Nolan.
That's a good one.
Nolan, Christopher Nolan.
I'm partial to Quentin. I
like Quentin. Like
I love his films. That's a great question, though. That's tough.
But,
yeah, give me Nolan. Give me Nolan's storytelling ability. Second to none.
Joseph Orkovsky says, "I need to." Okay, I think we end the show here.
Oh no, yes we do.
Yeah, Joe, really good.
Joe, bring this up another show because we have to head out. But absolutely,
it's very good.
All right, gentlemen, great show. This was as fun as I expected it to be.
Yeah, this was fun.
Awesome job with the list. That concludes our summer positional rankings series. So overall, great job. It's been a lot of fun. Next week, we go into the all birds of a feather draft. So for 2 weeks straight, we will be drafting. Each of us are going to be drafting a team.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
11 offensive players, 11 defensive players. shows. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be two. We're gonna split it up into 2 parts. So part 1 will be next week. That's gonna be.
Bitch brought up Javid Best again. Fucking asshole.
Javid Best.
I'm like flip the table.
To all of our fam listening in, thank you so much for your support. To our show sponsors, Alonzi, and our main show sponsor, Baggio's Bread. Remember, 10% off your order if you mention A2D Radio. For all of us here at A2D Radio, thank you. We appreciate you. Make sure you check out all the shows, especially the new shows that we have going on almost every single day. It's awesome stuff that's going on right now. So definitely continue your support. For myself, OG Pete, Mr. PY, and Jake Friel. Same time next week. Until then, love you. God bless. Peace out.